A new transitional housing unit for people in recovery is open in Allen County, Kansas. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with the impact that this could have on the community.
President Biden condemns white supremacy as a poison after 10 black people were killed in that mass shooting in Buffalo over the weekend. I'm Mallory Rivera with details on the president's message coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Authorities in Coffeyville, Kansas are investigating a homicide after a man is shot. Authorities yesterday responded to a call about a dead body inside a Coffeyville home. When police arrived, they found the body, 47-year-old Melvin Simpson Jr. of Coffeyville with gunshot wound. They also arrested a man who was leaving the home as police arrived. That man, though, has not yet been charged in this case. Authorities in Joplin released the name of a victim killed during a shooting yesterday. Police say that victim is 46-year-old Kenneth Matthews of Joplin. An autopsy for Matthews is scheduled for Friday. Authorities are not yet releasing the name of a second victim who was shot. That victim remains in critical condition. The shooting happened just after 6 yesterday near the intersection of 5th and Connor. Police say the suspect drove off after the shooting in a dark-colored vehicle. Federal judge today sentenced a man for shooting at officers during a chase in Jasper County. In October of 2020, officers in Carthage tried to pull over Raul Gonzalez Reyes of Stott City. Authorities say he sped off and shot at officers who were chasing him. Court documents say he also shot at officers earlier that same day but got away. The chase ended when he crashed his vehicle. Reyes is sentenced to 24 years in prison. A Grove, Oklahoma woman is dead after a crash in Delaware County. Authorities say 68-year-old Donna Hill was driving west on County Road East 260, about 3.5 miles north of Grove. She attempted to turn south on State Highway 10 and was hit by a pickup. Hill was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. The driver of the pickup was taken to the hospital in good condition. Doug Heddy joining us now. Another really hot day today.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty warm. It was muggy across the region. We had some scattered showers and thunderstorms during the morning hours. Sunshine during the afternoon topped out at 84 for an afternoon high. Now we got to watch thunderstorms later on tonight. You can see a severe threat mainly in Kansas, southwest Missouri along and north of I-44, but we got a ways to go. We have nothing out there. These storms are all sitting up north central Kansas, and it's really this batch that's going to affect us, and that is a long ways away. So we're talking 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, they'll start to push in. Of course, I'm going to break this down for you here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you as always. Southeast Kansans struggling with addiction now have a new place, safe place to get clean. The SEK Recovery House in Iola is now open and it's part of a Southeast Kansas Substance Misuse Prevention Coalition. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky tells us how the new Transitional Housing Center aims to bring long-term solutions to substance abuse in the region.
For those suffering from substance abuse, breaking the cycle of addiction can be an everyday battle. But a Southeast Kansas coalition is working to help those people find recovery.
When you're coming from inpatient treatment back into your home, it could be an unsafe environment. It could be the environment that you maybe went to jail from. If it's still unsafe as far as people still using substances or not just having a good recovery support network at home, our house here is meant to alleviate some of that, some of the barriers to attaining recovery and long-term sobriety.
That house is now known as the SEK Recovery House, and on Tuesday celebrated an official opening. The project started as an idea back in October, and now 7 months later is a reality.
We work with our residents to help them obtain employment and transition into more permanent housing. Whatever their goals are for their recovery, we will work with them too and support them in that.
And they aren't alone. Volunteers from the AmeriCorps senior program like Sandy Haggard are also lending a helping hand.
One of our objectives is for our volunteers to help with the opioid crisis, as the national program sees that that's a huge problem in our country.
Haggard says the decision to volunteer was easy. The Safe House's mission falls directly in line with theirs.
We don't want medication sitting on somebody's dining room table that someone visiting can come and just take their opioids, their painkillers, and just take them home and then potentially become people who need recovery themselves.
This is the start of the Southeast Kansas Substance Misuse Prevention Coalition's recovery houses, and they say it's just the beginning. In Iola, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Coalition says in the future they hope to bring a recovery house to all 6 counties they serve. Downtown Joplin Alliance taking time to clean up the downtown area right there. They're doing projects like picking up trash, raking right there, pulling weeds, and laying down some mulch. All the work is volunteer-based, and the group meets to do work in the community twice a month.
Small businessman, I have a firm belief that if I want my community to invest in me and my business, I need to go out and invest myself into my community. It's an approach that I have. It's paid off for me personally, just with my feeling of helping out in the community.
People in Newton County had the chance to get to know Republican candidates in upcoming elections this evening. The event was sponsored by the Newton County Republican Central Committee.
I think need to hear what the concerns are of the voters, and you know it's great to hear their messages crafted on TV, for example, but that's all one-way conversation. So I like to give the candidates and the voters a chance to visit with each other one-on-one.
The upcoming elections include candidates for Newton County Presiding Commissioner, Newton County Auditor, 7th District U.S. Congressman, and Missouri State Auditor. KOAM is partnering with other TV stations across the Show Me State of Missouri for a series of polls on a variety of topics. The online surveys were conducted last week by Survey USA. In our first report, we look at some questions about primary voting, also general election preference. Results from the Survey USA election poll show 82% of the 2,175 poll respondents are registered to vote in Missouri. Almost 1,800 registered Missouri voters were asked how likely it is they will vote in the August primary election for U.S. Senate. 55% of them said certain to vote. 73% of respondents ages 65 and older are certain to vote. 41% of respondents ages 18 to 34 are certain to vote. More than 1,300 likely primary voters were asked if they will vote in the Republican or Democratic primary. 96% of Republicans plan on voting in the Republican primary, while 94% of Democrats said they will vote in the Democratic primary. Almost 1,900 voters were asked how much confidence they have votes cast in the primary election for U.S. Senate will be counted accurately. 36% said some confidence, 34% chose full confidence. In our next half hour, we're going to hear which Republican and Democrat candidates have more support as of now. We'll also hear if voters care about a Trump endorsement. President Biden went to Buffalo today to meet with the families of the victims shot and killed in a supermarket over the weekend. Authorities have called the shooting a racially motivated hate crime. Now, President Biden is calling on the country to condemn white supremacy. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera reports now from Washington.
What happened in Buffalo was simple, says President Biden, calling the mass shooting that claimed the lives of 10 black people an act of domestic terrorism driven by hate.
White supremacy is a poison. It's a poison running through it.
Investigators say the 18-year-old suspect, Peyton Gendron, targeted Top Supermarket simply because of its zip code, which has the highest black population in Buffalo, and that he had planned to continue killing black people until police stopped him.
The ideology of white supremacy has no place in America. None.
For all the talk of pain, there was little talk of policy. The president did call for assault weapons to be kept off the streets. However, Congress has failed to pass gun reform legislation before, leaving many doubtful that this time will be different.
I want to see gun laws, because why should someone like me be able to purchase a military-grade bullet that explodes?
But questions have also come up over why New York's red flag law wasn't invoked against Gendron. The law prevents people who pose a threat to themselves and others from getting a gun. Yet authorities say Gendron was able to buy his weapon legally, reportedly after state police investigated him in June for making a threat about committing a murder-suicide.
If you want to know why it was missed, because family members and people around this assailant weren't honest about the full disclosure of what they know.
The suspect remains on suicide watch and is due back in court Thursday for a hearing. Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another 4-state hero. Robert Butler served in the U.S. Army from 1950 to 1952. Native of Iola, Kansas, Butler was stationed in Germany. We are proud to thank and salute Private First Class Robert Butler. He's tonight's four-state hero. Meteorologist Doug Heddy's next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, it's championship night of the 3A Regional Softball Tournament in Baxter Springs. Gonna have those highlights and more in sports.
Well, it turned out to be another muggy, warm day for us today. Very hazy sunset. We have the smoke from wildfires out across parts of New Mexico, which has been affecting us after some showers and thunderstorms that we had during the morning hours. All right, severe threat for us tonight. This is mainly southeastern Kansas, southwestern Missouri, and it's not for a while. These storms really aren't even going to get in here until probably after midnight, so kind of midnight to about 4 a.m. I'm going to keep all the threats low, but this is something we want to watch as we go through the rest of the overnight hours. As of right now, looks fine. We have pretty much clear skies, sitting at 73. Southerly winds at about 10. Humidity is at 73%. Nothing's going on here as of yet. We'll start to see some action, especially in our northern counties, once we get, especially after midnight tonight. You can see the storms out along the I-70 corridor out through parts of Kansas. We have numerous severe thunderstorm watches which have been popping up. In fact, our northwestern counties and our northern counties are all under a severe thunderstorm watch until late tonight as this band and this band kind of come together. You can see them kind of popping up. So if we look at, here's Topeka, here's Manhattan, you can see how electric these storms are. And then as these storms, they're going to fill in here north of Wichita, will combine with this batch, and then we just get a big old band of storms, and it will drop off toward the southeast later on tonight. So let's go through time. Here's midnight. All of our counties still sitting south of the storms. As we continue through the overnight hours, these will start sinking southeastward. So these are going to be affecting by 2:38 Center, Iola, Chanute, maybe as far south as Parsons. And remember, this is a model projection. It's not correct. It just gives you an idea of what could happen. These storms continue to progress south and east, but I don't really see them making it much farther south than Interstate 44. So these are mainly going to be Joplin, Kansas, Oklahoma state line, points north. But with these storms, we have the threat for very gusty winds upwards of 70 miles per hour and also some very large hail as they continue to work through. Should be out by morning, have some morning clouds, then we break out, see partly sunny skies, and we'll go pretty warm, muggy once again, 81 by noon, high temp of 86. We'll have to watch tomorrow night to see if we get another batch of scattered thunderstorms trying to work into the region. So we got to watch that. Those should be out of here by Thursday morning. And then we have another threat by the time we head into Friday. A cold front's going to slide in by the time we head into Friday afternoon, and scattered showers and thunderstorms will develop along the front, and we at least have a low severe threat with that as well on Friday. So a lot to watch next few days. 86 tomorrow, 87 on Thursday, 83 Friday. Check this out. High of 60 on Saturday, down to 42 Saturday night. So we kind of, 2 weeks ago we had spring.
Yeah.
Last week we had summer. This weekend we'll go to fall.
Yeah.
Rotate back around.
Man.
Yeah.
See you a little bit. Thanks so much, Doug. Coming up, the truth is out there.
The first time in 50 years, Congress held a public hearing on UFOs. I'm Caroline Shively in Washington. I'll have details coming up.
A shooting. Your Mocan Chevy dealer today.
A highly anticipated congressional hearing taking place on UFOs today. Lawmakers getting a chance to question Pentagon officials about what the U.S. knows about various encounters with unidentified flying objects. Fox News correspondent Caroline Shively has these details now from D.C.
Videos of UFOs shown at this congressional hearing Tuesday seem straight out of a science fiction movie.
U.S. Navy personnel recorded what appears to be triangles, some flashing, recorded several years ago, off the coast of the United States.
But Pentagon officials told the committee the danger of unidentified aerial phenomena is very real for military aircraft and potentially national security.
Because UAPs pose potential flight safety and general security risks, we are committed to a focused effort to determine their origins.
It's rotating.
An intelligence report released last year counted 144 sightings of flying objects that U.S. officials couldn't identify, including this one taken from an F-18 that shows a spherical shape zing past.
And is this one of the phenomena that we can't explain?
I do not have an explanation for what this specific object is.
Some sightings have been reported near military bases, raising the possibility they could be aircraft powered by secret technology from Russia, China, or another foreign adversary.
This is not about finding alien spacecraft, but about delivering dominant intelligence across the tactical, operational, and strategic spectrum.
After this public hearing, members entered a closed session saying some of their investigation needs to remain classified to protect national security. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Don't you have the theme song from the X-Files now stuck in your head? Still ahead, beating the odds.
Medical breakthroughs are increasing the chances of survival for babies born extremely premature. I'm Kevin Cork, and I've got all the details on that story and much more coming right up.
We're here to help.
The world of medicine has come a long way over the last century. Now, more doctors armed with the latest technology and birthing science are seeing it is possible to try and save extremely premature babies, where before most professionals thought it wasn't possible for them to survive. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork has the latest data, plus a special look at the world's earliest surviving premature infant.
Medical advances are giving doctors higher success rates for saving extremely premature babies. Babies like little Curtis Means from Alabama.
He's determined to do what he want to do, so I'm right behind him.
Michelle Butler gave birth to Curtis and his twin sister when she was only in the 5th month of pregnancy, roughly 7 weeks before doctors say babies could have a chance at surviving outside the womb.
It was pretty much a 0% chance.
While Curtis's sister tragically didn't make it, Curtis pulled through, and the likelihood of other babies like him surviving is actually expanding as improved technology is changing perspectives, giving doctors more confidence these early births could be saved. According to a recent study in the Journal of the American Medical Association, out of roughly 11,000 premature babies, just 30% born at 22 weeks lived long enough to be sent home from the hospital if doctors tried to save them. Now that number rose to 56% for those born at 23 weeks, and then skyrocketed to 71% for those born at 24 weeks.
They show you their heart rate is going to be steady and they're doing good by the monitor. That changes everything.
Surviving is only half the battle, though. Doctors say extremely premature babies are actually prone to neurological issues and can have difficulty breathing on their own, and unfortunately can also develop problems with their eyesight. I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
So we go from medical marvels to this. Add this to the very top of the list of worst ways to load a U-Haul. Goodness gracious, more on this bizarre incident next.
Join us for the sport.
One driver carrying a heavier than usual cargo in a U-Haul truck. Driver was busted carrying an SUV. Look at that. Goodness. In the back of a U-Haul box truck in Washington State. Officers stopped him in Okanogan County after being reported by other drivers. Yeah, freaked me out too. The driver had a suspended license, was also charged $139 for its risky load, while his vehicle and overdue rented truck were both taken away by the traffic officers. U-Haul, by the way, just in case you're wondering, they do offer vehicles specific for towing on their website, according to their website. Well, duh. They also offer things called trailers to do something like that safely.
Or at least get a big enough U-Haul that it fits in, you can shut the door.
Well, yeah, that's it, Doug. I mean, Doug said get a big enough U-Haul at least to, don't. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. How a local church is helping to alleviate a shortage of blood donations in the region.
Attempt to rescue more fighters from a steel plant in the besieged city of Mariupol. I'm Trey Yingst in Kyiv, Ukraine. I've got the details coming up.
Nominate your...
Thanks for watching.
A local nonprofit today collected a valuable and necessary resource from people, blood. The Community Blood Center hosted a blood drive at Rocketdyne Road at Church of Christ in Neosho. The Blood Center is based out of Springfield and supplies blood to more than 40 hospitals in the 4 states. For this blood drive, their target number was to get at least 22 units. Some local elementary school students volunteered their time today to help those in need. 5th grade students from Mound Valley Grade School in Mound Valley, Kansas, helped clean the Ronald McDonald House in Joplin. Students also donated aluminum tabs they had been collecting. The class's teacher stayed at the house in the past, so she knows firsthand the impact. Good job, guys. Survey USA recently conducted a poll in Missouri about the upcoming August primary election. KOM is partnering with other TV stations in Missouri to report on these series of polls. This first poll about the upcoming election asked voters which candidate they would vote for right now and if they cared about a Trump endorsement. 642 likely Republican voters were asked by the Survey USA election poll, does the endorsement of a candidate by former President Donald Trump make you more likely to vote for the endorsed candidate, less likely, or it makes no difference either way? 57% of those respondents chose more likely. 61% of the female respondents are more likely to vote for a candidate, while 53% of male respondents are more likely. 64% of respondents ages 18 to 34 are more likely, and 54% of respondents ages 65 and older are more likely to vote for a candidate. The poll found former Missouri Governor Eric Greitens is a leading candidate among Republicans, and Lucas Kunce is leading among Democrats, although no single candidate has a majority of support at this point. More than 1,400 respondents were asked if the November election for U.S. Senate were today, and these were the only candidates on the ballot, who would you vote for? 42% of the more than 1,400 likely November voters responded they would vote for Republican Eric Greitens. 36% would vote for Democrat Lucas Kunce. 46% of the male respondents said they would vote for Greitens, compared to 38% of female respondents choosing Greitens. 47% of respondents ages 65 and older would vote for the former governor, compared to 39% of respondents ages 18 to 34. You can visit our website, komnewsnow.com, for many more details of this voting poll. There are many more details. Tomorrow, we're going to see results from polls asking people about the economy, Russia, the coronavirus, and Roe v. Wade. Sweden and Finland moving another step closer to joining NATO, this coming as Ukrainian officials work to evacuate more defenders trapped in a besieged steel plant. Fox News correspondent Trey Yingst has more.
Ukraine mounted efforts today to remove more fighters from the Azovstal plant. On Monday, after weeks of being holed up inside dark tunnels, some 260 fighters were evacuated from the steel mill. Moscow calling the operation in Mariupol a mass surrender. Ukrainian officials praised the defenders, saying they changed the course of the war.
Thanks to the defense put up by the Mariupol defenders, the enemy was prevented from the redeployment of its groups. The enemy was not able to redeploy them into other regions.
The Donbas region continues to face heavy fire, but Russia's military campaign has suffered elsewhere, with troops being forced to retreat from Kharkiv. And today, the International Criminal Court announced its largest probe ever into war crimes committed by Russian forces in Ukraine.
Mariupol aside, the fighting still goes on in the Donbass. There's a lot of back and forth. It's a very, as we say at the Pentagon, it's a kinetic fight.
Meanwhile, Moscow is facing more diplomatic setbacks. Today, Sweden signed a formal request to join NATO, while Finland's parliament voted overwhelmingly in favor of joining the alliance. Both countries will submit their applications on Wednesday. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov downplayed the move.
Finland, Sweden, as well as other neutral countries have been participating in NATO military exercises for many years.
The White House will host leaders from Finland and Sweden on Thursday. In Kyiv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Another look at the forecast next.
I'm Rob Butterfield.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a warm, muggy day for us today. Some scattered showers, thunderstorms during the morning hours, and then we broke out, saw sunshine this afternoon, heated up into the mid-80s. We do have thunderstorms. We are tracking out across the I-70 corridor that have produced some very strong winds and large hail, which is actually heading toward us a little bit later on tonight. They will weaken once they get into the metro. They're going to get here. It looks like it, but it's going to take a while. So that's why severe threat is lower along south of I-44 and then higher once you get north of I-44. I do not think these are even going to work into our northwestern counties, which are right here, until probably 12 to 1. And then they'll start plowing southeast. I'm going to keep all the threats low. There's not much of a tornado threat here. This is mainly straight line winds, which we know also can do some damage across the region. Looks fine right now. 7th and range line currently sitting at 73. South winds at 10. Humidity is at 73%. Nothing going on here, but you can see the severe thunderstorm watch has popped out or popped up in our northern counties. And this is due to this complex of storms, which is really increasing very intense storms to the west of Topeka. And this whole complex just to the west of Emporia has popped up. These continue out across central Kansas. Very electric storms, very heavy amounts of rain. But you can see our northwestern counties. Here's Greenwood County, Coffee County, and then once you get into Woodson County, where Yates Center is, it's still quite a ways away. So what's going to happen? These are going to fill in, but you can see this storm to the west of Salina, this could produce winds upwards of 90. So, I mean, these have some strong winds, and this is going to track southeast right into our northwestern counties, and it's going to fill in with this. So it's just going to be just a line of mess. Good news, they will weaken as they push through the region, but they could pack a really good punch once they get into Yates Center, Fredonia, Neodesha, Chanute, Iola, Humboldt, maybe over toward Fort Scott. Again, this is kind of like 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. So these are late night storms that are going to push into the region. All right, let's go through time. Again, this is a model projection. No model is correct. It just gives you kind of an idea of roundabout where these storms could be at a certain time. So here's 12 to 1, working into our northern counties, diving southeast. You can see taking over Fort Scott, Nevada. But once they get into the metro at about 3 or 4 o'clock, Pittsburgh to Joplin, they weaken. They could be still right at low grade severe, maybe just below. But I think after 4 a.m., our severe threat will drop. And if you live northeastern Oklahoma, southwest Missouri, south of I-44, or northwest Arkansas, I don't think you'll have any severe weather. I think just some scattered thunderstorms. 86 tomorrow, morning storms. Another batch could affect us tomorrow night, which could be severe. Severe threat again Friday afternoon. So just kind of keeps rolling in and cooling down quite a bit heading into the weekend.
Springtime, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it. Lawyers representing Johnny Depp grilled his ex-wife as a cross-examination of Amber Heard intensifies in a Virginia courtroom. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has more on the case from New York City.
Amber Heard returned to the stand Tuesday in a Virginia courtroom. She was grilled by Johnny Depp's lawyers as her cross-examination enters its second day. Heard explained her decision to release the 2018 op-ed in the Washington Post, in which she called herself a victim of domestic abuse.
I was talking about a bigger issue actually than just Johnny. I was talking about what we as a country were talking about at the time of writing this, which is when powerful men in general do something horrible or something they shouldn't.
Depp's legal team spent most of the day attempting to poke holes in Heard's allegations of violence during the pair's multi-year marriage. This comes after Heard stated that Depp's abuse started a year earlier than she previously claimed. Depp's lawyers are accusing Heard of lying about the night she said Depp hurled a phone, resulting in injuries to her face.
You sat in this courtroom while Officer Sines testified that she saw you the night of May 21, 2016, face to face, and didn't see any injuries on your face. Isn't that correct, Ms. Heard?
I believe she was testifying about these photographs, and she said that I was not injured in them.
The Aquaman actress says the current case has taken a toll on her mental health.
The most intimate, embarrassing, deeply humiliating, and personal things that I've survived are used against me every day.
Depp is suing Heard for $50 million. He claims the Washington Post op-ed defamed his character and negatively impacted his career as an actor. In New York, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
All right, coming up in sports, pair of local softball teams aiming to move on to the Missouri State semifinals. Plus, it's regional championship night for baseball and softball in Southeast Kansas. Jacob Leonard joins us with that and more next.
Today is championship day for the 3A regional softball tournament in Baxter Springs. First, though, we have a pair of semifinal games. On the first game of the day, Baxter Springs knocked off the top-seeded Columbus Titans to earn a spot in the regional championship. Now, the other semifinal, big-time matchup here. Second-seeded Frontenac against third-seeded Girard. First inning, Mia Brown with the laser. Goes off the wall. That scores Abby Beeman. Brown in there for the double. Frontenac goes up 2 after 1. A third inning, 1 on for Hattie Pyle. She hammers one to right center. Clears the fence for the 2-run shot. Pyle, 3 home runs on the day. That pushes the lead to 4. Later, 5th inning, Mia Brown back to work. Squares up and drills this one out to left. Brown with a 2-run homer of her own. Raiders advance to the regional championship, shutting out Girard 10-0. So here we go. It's Frontenac against Baxter Springs in the regional championship. The winner moves on to the 3A state tournament. And it's Frontenac cruising 12-4. The Raiders hit 7 home runs in their 2 games today. Now they're headed back to Manhattan for the state tournament.
Last season, and we knew coming in we had the squad to do it, and I'd be lying if I said, this whole season has been super successful for us, because it hasn't. We've had our bumps in the road, and, we've been waiting as a coaching staff for these kids to explode like they did today, and really figure out who they are as a team.
I think we feel more confident, but it's still like we have kind of that underdog mentality, because we still are a young team with only 1 senior, and it's just having those younger girls step up and do their job. It's just really awesome.
Tonight is also championship night at the 3A regional baseball tournament in Galena. It was always going to come down to these 2 teams, Frontenac and Columbus, the top 2 seeds in the bracket, square off for the regional title tonight. Now the winner moves on to Manhattan for the 3A state tournament next week. The runner on third for Frontenac on the bunt here. Check out the play from Brett Hamilton. Diving toss to get the runner at home. This game was scoreless until the 4th. Now in the 4th, Colt Ungehauer pulls one down the line for Columbus. That brings Hamilton home from second. Titans have the first run of the day, but check this out. Ungehauer heads up base running here, takes off, makes it to third. The next batter, Cole Miner, pokes one through the right side. Ungehauer in easily. Columbus goes up 2-0 heading into the 5th. Seth Stover, great on the mound for the Titans. Strikeout there, ends the top of the 5th. Columbus goes on to beat Frontenac 5-1. Titans are headed to the state tournament for the first time in program history.
It is wonderful. It's wonderful for me, but I am so happy for these kids and in the community and parents. They've helped so much, but these kids have done a great job and they deserve it. The whole motto this year was to finish every game, 1 game at a time. And these kids played their hearts out all year long and they finished, but we're not done yet. We're going to go state and we're going to represent our regional.
Now we have 2 local softball teams still alive for state championships on the Missouri side, both of them in action tonight in the state quarterfinals. In Class 1, Jasper hosting Miller. Eagles roll to a 10-0 win to punch their ticket to the Final Four. Then in Class 2, Diamond at home against Clever. Wildcats also going to the semifinals and also doing it in a shutout 8-0. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Chances of rain.
While the U.S. is likely months away from seeing more baby formula on the store shelves, one company is looking to help fill the gap. Fox Business Network's Lydia Hugh has this story.
This company is an example of opportunity meets preparation. It's called By Heart, and it launched its baby formula in March. Now, during this national baby formula shortage, we've learned about the fragility of the baby formula supply chain, where only 4 manufacturers make up nearly all of the market. Abbott Nutrition's market share for baby formula exceeds 40%. Why is that? Well, it's very expensive and difficult to enter the market. The processing conditions must meet very strict sanitation and nutrition standards. But even in the face of these hurdles, By Heart's founders pursued development for 5 years. They acquired their own manufacturing facility in Pennsylvania and completed clinical trials, and they are now the first formula maker in 15 years to be registered with the FDA. When I got to talk to the CEO, I asked him, what does he think of this baby formula shortage?
First of all, that's unfathomable, right? This is sole source nutrition for babies. What we didn't realize is 5 years later, how important that decision to really vertically integrate and own our entire supply chain would be in enabling us to be part of a solution now to this national crisis.
Of course, now there is huge demand for ByHeart's products. They sell direct to consumer on their website, and ByHeart says just last week it took on 3 months worth of new customers. Now they have to temporarily pause accepting new customers so they can evaluate pace and scale, but they are ramping up production, aiming to take on new customers soon. Reporting from New York, Lydia Hu, Fox Business.
Coming up, going to check out the Fox Entertainment going into 2023. Fox TV has a big year ahead, announcing an exciting 2022-2023 schedule. And as you learn about the entertainment in store, Fox's Ashley Dvorkin starts by bringing us fun from the blue carpet with the stars as they celebrate the programming on the way.
And favorite series returning to new shows premiering. We're catching up with the stars of both at the Fox 2022 Upfront to bring you a look at what's coming up on the Fox TV lineup.
Hey, what can I get for you?
Among renewals are comedies Call Me Kat and Welcome to Flatch. Returning dramas include 911 and 911 Lone Star, a series Rob Lowe says brought a chance to do the kind of performance he admires.
I actually think you have to almost be a certain age to be able to get there, and I'm there. I love playing this iteration of an American hero.
It's also offered work with family, including his brother Chad.
The only Lowe with an Emmy, and when I was acting with him, I was reminded why. He's really good.
I thought you were going to say he reminded you of that
Yeah.
while you were acting
Yeah,
with him.
he said, "Hey, Rob, I'm the only one with an Emmy. Action!"
The Cleaning Lady will be back for season 2.
I want to be surprised. I don't know about you, Martha, but I don't want to. I want more men for Fiona.
Co-star Oliver Hudson also has hopes for his character.
I'm hoping that I break bad a little bit myself. The FBI guy sort of gone wrong.
In competitions, add Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars and MasterChef Season 12 Back to Win.
They are feisty. They're a little bit more focused, a little more determined, and more importantly, hungry to win this time round.
Twitch is a judge on So You Think You Can Dance. He loves seeing new moves and lots of confidence.
I could try. No, but I could have a lot of confidence and pretend that I can. There you go.
Thank you.
Dancing, drama, comedy, cooking. Mark the calendar for lots of TV tune-ins with so much exciting programming on the way. In New York, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with a video of a pig race in China. It's exciting stuff right there, huh? You know? Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.